Finn and Jake are together again.
Adventure Time as we knew it came to a close in September of 2018, with the 44-minute finale, Come Along With Me, which saw many beloved characters of the franchise assemble and face impossible odds in the Gum War, which would spiral into the final confrontation with Gold. It was an emotional roller coaster. It was intense, it was sad, the music was so good, and it put a nice little bow on the gift of what Adventure Time has built up over its run. However, there was one big problem. The focus of this finale was far removed from Finn and Jake, ultimately amounted to them trying and failing. While everyone has their character moments, the major story beats were ultimately driven by Bubblegum, Marceline, and Betty. Moments I all really enjoyed. I mean, Betty's goodbye, that's a classic tear-jerking moment right there. But it doesn't change the fact that, in a show all about Finn and Jake, named after Finn and Jake, they were second fiddle in their own finale, having moments that, if this was any other show, would have been moments for the secondary characters. At least those who weren't the main two. Even after rewatching Come Along With Me, I love it, but I think I'm always going to feel a little bit cheated. I mean, looking back on it, finales can typically have powerful lines coming from the main character, right? Well, Finn's most memorable, most powerful line from that episode is this.
I always figured I'd go out saving somebody.
Which is a great line, but it just goes to show how we were robbed of that moment of satisfaction from Finn and Jake, whereas everyone else had those moments. Now, I'm doing all this bitching and nitpicking to bring up my next point. The new Distant Land special, Together Again, feels like the true Adventure Time finale to me. If you compare the first episode of Adventure Time to its final episode, you'd probably think, whoa, it's crazy to see what this show has turned into. But if you compare the first episode, hell, the vibe of the early seasons in general, to this finale just from premise alone, you'd probably think, this makes sense. This is a perfect conclusion. From here on out, spoilers, because I am ready to gush about this special. If you haven't seen it yet, and you somehow haven't been spoiled already, then I suggest you dip in 3, 2, 1. Together Again is about Finn kicking the bucket, arriving to eternity, and immediately embarking on a quest to reunite with Jake in the Dead Worlds. However, trouble awaits. As the Dead Worlds are under new management, Death has been replaced by New Death, a villain who shockingly manages to bring the entire series full circle, as Finn and Jake's final standoff is none other than with the king himself. But I'm not going to talk about him yet, because I want to talk about the wonderful inclusions of other characters first. With a series like Adventure Time that has amassed such a large cast, you have to be kind of selective about who gets to make an appearance in big episodes. And I feel like they did a really good job with the roster of this episode. Tiffany's role was a galaxy brain move. Finn's goal is to reunite with Jake. Who better to get in his way than the guy who is obsessed with Jake and vehemently hates Finn? And then they give him a pretty wholesome conclusion where he still feels like he wins? Which reminds me, Finn and Jake's parents, and Jermaine, were such a treat to see. There's something bittersweet about seeing all of these characters chilling in the afterlife. And then Juice Goose, who's basically in hell.
Rhymes on crimes.
Something major about this episode that's felt throughout Distant Lands as a whole is that it's absolutely clear the show trusts its audience. All of these specials deal with mature themes, but I know this one's really going to hit different for a lot of people. Whether if you've lost an animal, close friend, or relative, then Finn and Jake's arc in this special may really speak to you. Because at the core, we're watching Finn come to terms with how much of an impact Jake's death had on his life. It had an impact on him. He kind of regressed a little bit. And as he tells Jake,
Deep down, I just kept waiting for the day I'd finally see you again.
I can only imagine how many people will relate to this. How much of themselves they'll see in Finn. For these two to finally find each other again in death, to find all these people they know and love, I feel like it helps make the concept of death a little less scary. And it's poetic that their final adventure is facing off against the Lich, or at least what remains of him. It services not only the fans, but Finn and Jake themselves. They get that satisfying victory that was robbed from them and Come Along With Me. And I can't help but to feel as if that was an addendum on the behalf of the writers. kind of acknowledging that Come Along With Me didn't treat these two the best. And I forgot to mention up until this point, but I really love the concept of the 50th Dead world, especially because of how zen everything is. It makes perfect sense that this would be Jake's final resting place. And it tugs at the heartstrings that much more when Jake decides to reincarnate with Finn. He's giving up the highest tier of the afterlife to experience the world with his best friend, his brother, one more time. In his own words, just for fun. Also, minor detail, but I really love how they use Shoko here compared to how tacked on her appearance was in Come Along With Me. Here, since Finn can cycle through all versions of himself, he can transform into Shoko, and Jake can transform into a tiger. It's also telling that Peppermint Butler now rules the Candy Kingdom, which I assume was set up for Wizard City, similar to how Finn's appearance in Obsidian set up this special, and Simon is spotted nowhere in the Dead Worlds. So we can assume that now, he can be best friends with Marcy and PB for all of eternity. Or at least he's aging very, very slowly. And that's about it. That's what I have to say about Together Again. It is quite the emotional roller coaster. The second time I watched it, I had to hold back tears. And what really got me was the credits. Just seeing what Finn and Jake are probably seeing, you know, without the actual animation credits, as they head back to Earth for a brand new life. Best friends together forever. What did you think of Together Again? Definitely drop your thoughts in the comments below, or you can always tweet them over at Roundtable Vids, and you can find me at OstricVox. That's on Twitter and Instagram. As always, you can check out the Roundtable over at patreon.com/roundtablevids, and if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot if you threw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable with notifications on, so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have an awesome day. See ya!